The Sunday school lesson for November 3rd, 2024 is Confidence in God's Shepherding, Psalm 23. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, The Backstory and More. I am Audrey. If you are interested in knowing what happens before each Sunday school lesson, you are at the right place because I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. The backstory. We know less than we would like about where and when the Psalter was assembled. There is clearly a consideration given to an arrangement of its 150 psalms. It is frequently noted that they are arranged in 5 books, the first 4 of which conclude with Amen, meaning we agree or true. A connection to David is apparent in half the Psalms. His name appears in the superscriptions of 73 of them, with 2 more Psalms attributed to him in Acts chapter 4, verse 25, and Hebrews chapter 4, verse 7. Superscriptions are instructions or attributions appearing at the beginning of many Psalms. Superscriptions are part of the text, although modern Bible gives them no verse number, and Bible software gives them a verse number of 0. Although many superscriptions list one or more names, the relationship of the named person to the psalm in view is often unclear. Today's text is an example. Its superscription reads, "A Psalm of David." This may indicate that David was the author, but the Hebrew preposition behind the English word of can also express relation or direction. This means that Psalm 23 could be about David or dedicated to him. David first appears in Scripture as a keeper of sheep, 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11. During a war with the Philistines, he continued to be responsible for the care of his father's flock, 17, verse 15, and verse 20. That might seem to have been a safe, behind the front lines kind of job. But in that role as a shepherd, David had fought both lion and bear, chapter 17, verses 34 through 37. It is also relevant to note that shepherding is a common metaphor in the ancient Near East, used especially for kings who protect and provide for subjects. This goes a long way to help explain the depiction of David. His introduction as a shepherd in 1 Samuel guides readers to anticipate that he would make a good king. This was an important development, for when the Israelites first asked Samuel for a king, they contravened the wishes of God, 1 Samuel chapter 8. But God nonetheless redeemed the monarchy and made an everlasting covenant with David, 2 Samuel chapter 7. Anything either by or about David is therefore important to consider. Verses 1 through 2. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Verses 3 through 4. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Verses 5 through 6. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. A brief summary. In Psalm 23, David used a metaphor he was familiar with, shepherding. Having tended his father's sheep as a young boy, David knew the key role a shepherd played in the care of sheep. It would have been a meaningful metaphor, too, for the early worshippers utilizing this psalm. Their pastoral lives made them quite familiar with the illustrations David drew. In this psalm, David emphasized a critical idea. When God is our shepherd, we can look to him for rest, restoration, sustenance, and protection. God knows that we need food for our souls, not just for our bodies. God guides us to quiet places where spiritual sustenance is always available. Perhaps Jesus thought of this psalm when he spoke of living water, John chapter 4 verse 10. The deepest yearning of our hearts is completely satisfied when the Lord quenches our thirst. Sheep need a shepherd not only to provide rest and sustenance, but also to provide guidance. Sheep will stray without a shepherd. Similarly, without God's restoring guidance, pointing us down the right paths, we could easily stray, get lost, or end up in danger. Yet, when we walk according to the leadership of our Good Shepherd, we experience abundant life. John chapter 10, verses 10 through 14. In Israel, shepherds often had to lead their herds through dangerous and sheep trails bordered by sheer cliffs. They also occasionally had to fight off predators posing a threat to their sheep. Their rod and their crooked staff served as both a means of protection and as tools of rescue. God similarly protects and rescues us, even as we face discouragement, doubts, or temptations that threaten to devour us. As Paul reassures us, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Thank you so very much for watching and listening. Join me soon for the next backstory and more. Stay safe and may God bless.